Your copy today before it's too late.
What is the code?
The code. The code was a list of rules that came along from the Motion Picture Association that they put together in 1930 to kind of control what was being said and done in movies, because they were afraid the government was going to come in and censor them and take over the censorship of the movies if they didn't do it themselves. So they put this code together. The problem was nobody paid much attention to it.
Well, as you mentioned, the code was drafted in 1930. It wasn't really implemented until 1934 with Joseph Green under Hayes's office at the MPAA. And in that period in between, we see this kind of heyday of these kind of pulpy movies, and there's a lot of double entendre, there's a lot of sexual innuendo and infidelity and crime and amorality. And so for that 4-year period where everybody seems to be talking about it, and right before they actually have to stop doing it, you see this flood of all these films, which are the subject of what we're going to be dealing with here. Robert, tell me what you love about Trouble in Paradise.
Trouble in Paradise, 1932. I think it's kind of the definitive Lubitsch picture. Ernst Lubitsch with his sly wit and his kind of tongue-in-cheek. And I think it's very interesting that this in context of a pre-code film is the fact that you've got 3 attractive people in it, and 2 of them are really con artists that you shouldn't be liking, and they never really pay for their sins at all.
We've had countless films here in America and around the world where there's this lovable thief, there's a lovable con man, there's a lovable criminal. We took people that were murderers in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and made them into a pair of charming anti-heroes. And this is another example of that, like the movie we saw with Cagney and Blondell, where they are con men and they're charming con men. So we go along with them for the ride, and we even root for them. And until, of course, you're the victim of a con man like that, then you want to go out and you want to shoot them. But this is the magic of the movies. You take a sexy, well-spoken, charming, elegant movie star, and they're Steve McQueen breaking into a vault, or there's someone committing some heist crime. It's the Thomas Crown affair. It's what have you. But the code was concerned with this idea of easy money and of thievery.
And getting away with it.
And getting away with it. That was the key, that people couldn't get away with it. And that was a big issue with the code. The sexuality, the infidelity, violence, but also people getting away with crime.
Crime does not pay. That was the big message.
That was their thrust. Now, you talk about the Lubitsch touch. How would you define that, and what's a movie that you think is
well,
signature?
Lubitsch had this way of adding pieces. He was very creative, I think, and there were things in Lubitsch pictures that he would do that other directors, I think, wouldn't even think of doing, like witty little spices all through the picture. Very hard to describe, but Billy Wilder always modeled his career on Ernst Lubitsch, and he would say something that when he finished a film, he said he only wished that he could, see how Lubitsch would have done it, because he would have added so much more, particularly when people would compliment Billy Wilder on one of his films.
What's some of your favorite Lubitsch? What's one you really love?
Well, I love To Be or Not to Be. I love Clooney Brown with Jennifer Jones and Charles Boyer is one of my great favorites. He had The Shop Around the Corner with Margaret Sullivan and Jimmy Stewart, I think is one of the great, all-time great comedies. So let's have a look. Here from Paramount in 1932, and with the wonderful Edward Everett Horton also in the cast, Trouble in Paradise.